Before the guillotine could claim her,
Marie Antoinette faced a final, deliberate act of cruelty. A journey meant not just to punish her, but to erase her existence. Her passage from Versailles, gilded halls to a bare wooden cart, was more than exile. It was a psychological assault, designed to strip away the woman behind the crown. Forget the sparkling salons of Versailles. This story begins in the damp, stinking cell of the Conciergerie, the antechamber to the guillotine. In August 1793, she was torn from her family and brought here, prisoner number 280, alone, stripped of her crown and wealth. Privacy didn't exist. 2 guards watched her eat, dress, and even sleep. Surveillance became a weapon, a reminder that royalty meant nothing now. One night they came for her son, 8-year-old Louis Charles. She fought, screamed, begged, but they tore him away. She would never see him again. All she had left was a portrait and a lock of his hair, hidden in her corset. Losing her crown was nothing. Losing her child broke her heart. Her maid, Rosalie Lamorly, later said the Queen's heart broke only when she spoke of her children. Every other insult she endured in silence. On October 14th, 1793, she faced the Revolutionary Tribunal, a sham trial scripted by her enemies. They forced her son to accuse her of unspeakable crimes, a lie so cruel it silenced even the jeering crowd. She rose not to beg, but to confront the lie. Turning to the women who once called for her death, she reminded them she was a mother first. After 2 days, the verdict came. Guillotine of high treason. The Queen of France was condemned to die by guillotine. In her cell that night, she refused her final meal. "I need nothing now, my child," she whispered. "It's all over for me." She wrote one final letter, and to her sister-in-law, begging that her son be forgiven for the words they forced him to say. The letter never reached its destination. It was seized and hidden away, discovered only years later. With dawn came the final humiliation. They ordered her to remove her mourning gown, the last symbol of her status and her grief. In its place, they forced her into a rough white shirt, the garb of a penitent, not a queen. They sheared her hair, a ritual meant to erase her femininity and her past. Yet even then she stood motionless, unbroken. Her hands were bound so tight the ropes cut into her skin. Every gesture now required permission, even to breathe, even to exist. She was led to a wooden cart, the same kind used for criminals. Unlike her husband, she rode exposed, surrounded by hatred. The parade through Paris was an hour-long humiliation, meant to crush her spirit before the blade did. But as the insults rained down, she remained composed, aware that her final hours would define her more than any crown. At the Place de la Révolution, the guillotine loomed like a wooden god, waiting to devour its final queen.
she stepped down with deliberate grace. Every movement is silent, every breath defiant. She refused the executioner's hand. She climbed the wooden steps alone, her last act of defiance. In a strange twist, she stepped on his foot and whispered, "Forgive me, sir, I did not mean to." That small act, an apology before death, was her last gesture of grace. She had lost everything, yet her dignity remained. At 12:15 p.m. the blade fell. The crowd erupted, chanting for the Republic. But what they destroyed was only her body. Madame Tussaud was summoned to make a death mask, proof that fascination can linger even after death. Decades later, her remains were moved to the royal crypt at Saint-Denis. At last, the Queen was laid to rest with dignity. They tried to erase her, but the world remembers her not for extravagance, but for endurance, for courage and for grace under cruelty.